We're building a 1960s inspired vintage supercar based off of a Porsche Boxster that we saved from the junkyard.
With my dad's V8 engine. It's not just like a Porsche Boxster.
There's a lot of sentimental value attached to this car.
And a lot of horsepower compared to a Boxster. Last week, we laid out a wireframe to continue defining the shape of the back end of the car. This week, we're going to deal with some inherent design changes that happened and make adjustments so that it all flows well together. Ryan's going to work on building that out in more aluminum tubing while I work on building the doors. The question is, do we start with what Porsche laid out for us, or do we start from scratch? So the first part of that decision-making process, I want to put the factory door back up in its hole and take a look at everything. Before I can do that, I gotta get this fender out of the way. Mission accomplished. The nice thing about using the factory door is it goes on really easily. It's engineered for the window regulator and to fit up with our window frame here. All the things that we need a door to do, it can do. The bad thing is, we don't want this to look like a Boxster when it's done. So we don't want this cut line, we don't want this cut line, we don't want this profile. So what we have to work through is the balance of all the work it takes to make this work mechanically against all the work it takes to make it look like a different door. And I'm gonna flip a coin.
You're gonna do what? You're gonna flip a coin?
Can't hurt your chances.
Looks like we're doing the Boxster door.
Oh man.
The other side is not a Boxster, in case you think I'm playing a trick. So in the process of trying to weigh all this out, I'm trying to figure out which parts are mechanical and need to be kept. Our window regulator bolts here and here. So anything behind this, other than the striker itself, which we can move, and to some degree is extraneous. On the front side, I definitely want to try and move away from the Boxster cut line, but how much of this is style and how much is clearance so that the front edge of this door doesn't run into there, so the front edge of the door here doesn't run into the rocker there. There's a reason that engineering takes so much time. And that's the reason why I don't want to spend too much time trying to engineer a whole new door, because that takes even more time.
And these two boxes on this pallet is the Elegoo Orange Storm Giga 3D printer.
Does it get those wonderful toys?
As you can tell, it's a big boy. So we're gonna have to get this thing from here all the way up there in our office. So that'll be fun.
My biggest concern is, do I like this change?
Yeah, it's heavily scalloped compared to what it was in the clay model. And Tony's been thinking about it a lot since last week.
It didn't feel like an intentional design change to me. But if we put our taillights here and we have our wing here, we get this shape here. It wasn't designed because we like that shape. That shape is a big thing here. I'm not, I'm not saying that the shape's wrong, but like it got there incidentally.
I feel like incidentals are what happen though when you do a 1/6 scale model, blow it up, and then things start to misalign a little bit.
Things will change, right? I want the final result of the change to be what we want the car to be.
Oh, I agree.
And not incidental.
Oh no, So my plan of attack for the tail end here is to retube the taillight panel right here in aluminum, and then also run the tubing from here up straight up to the roll bar and down below here to get it to float in place, and then kind of figure out the lines in between from there. Might like jam something here to keep it in place. What can I jam there? This video has been paid for and sponsored by Factor. Factor makes meeting your nutrition goals easier than ever by delivering fresh, never frozen, dietitian-approved meals right to your doorstep. Skip the overpriced takeout trap. Factor is cheaper and way more delicious. Get chef-crafted, restaurant-quality meals delivered right to your door. They're ready to heat and eat in just 2 minutes. And when things get hectic, Factor is flexible. Change your order up every week with plans from 4 to 18 meals per week. Or pause or reschedule your deliveries anytime. Kyle, I think a storm's coming in. We should probably wrap up pretty quick. Factor is my go-to lunch solution because it's quick, easy, and healthy. Kind of hard to find all three of those in one package. Head to factor75.com or click the link below and use code Coachworks50 to get 50% off your first Factor box and 20% off your next month of orders. That's code Coachworks50 at factor75.com to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month of orders. Huge thanks to Factor for sponsoring this video. Video sponsorships like this keep our channel rolling, so check them out, guys. I'm gonna head back inside before this rain hits and get back to work. Did I grab a piece of non-annealed aluminum? You know what, I think I did. That's why it's not bending. So I started bending our taillight housing here, I'm gonna call it that. Lines up pretty nice within the bounds. It's oversized, obviously. What I'm trying to figure out, though, is right here. So we have a lot going on wireframe-wise. It's a little too complex. It's just kind of thrown in places for some ideas. We're gonna have to simplify this into a shape that works. So I'm thinking what I'm gonna do is do a bend here and then actually angle it in this way rather than angling it up. But I should probably show Tony before I do it, because if I do it and he doesn't like it, he's gonna come in and come in like this. He's gonna come in, glasses on tip of his nose. He's gonna be like, that's not what we discussed. So I don't like when he does that face. So
the shape of this changes in relation to that. So, like, I think this is going to come down to here.
Let's go straight up to this and like 90 up to that, basically. Okay,
yep.
I'm fine with that.
I think that makes sense.
I didn't want you to come in with the glasses and the tip of your nose and go, that's not what we discussed. So.
Well, it isn't. So fix it.
I hate it here. For they were deceived because another ring was forged. Alright, this should fit really nicely now. Look at that! Shoo! Clamper and welder. I put my torch down on the foam and melted the tungsten to it. Is that a problem? I probably should grind that off. Tony, you look very motivated.
Yeah, well, I'm already regretting going along with you and cutting that door jamb out.
You regretted going along with something that's my idea?
Yeah.
Never. Why? Because that door jam's the shape of the door, so we can't even use it.
You can use the part of it which we needed, which located the latch, and you could use the part that was the threshold.
Why? We're gonna make a new one.
Which is what? Why are we gonna make a new threshold?
Because it's gonna be different. It's gonna be out farther, probably. Look at the shape here. It's not dumb.
I think our brains are in completely different hemispheres right now.
They usually are.
Yeah. All right, back to it. just removing what's left of the top of the door skin from this rail so I can put this back in and locate the top edge of our door. This would have been a perfect time. What is thy bidding, my master?
Yeah.
What is thy bidding, my master?
Now I can remove the last of the wiring here that is now in my way. Yep, now we're getting somewhere, buddy. Now we're getting somewhere. I'm going to tube between this now and this hoop here and keep moving. Originally, the plan was to make the whole rear end and wire and weld it all together and move it off the car that way. But now we're going to just have that side be wire on the left and then this side be tubing. It's funny, everything I'm doing right now goes against everything we always do, which is just tack for now, get it fit up, and then weld it later. But this tubing, if you just do just tacks, it falls apart. And in last week's video, I said to keep me accountable that I don't do just little tacks. Makes it a little more solid, but if I don't like this later, or Tony comes back here and goes, that's not what you discussed. Well, it's a lot more work to remove. Don't come back here yet, I want to finish this first. You stay over there. Your job is the door, my job is the rear end, right?
All right.
I want to talk really briefly about this bad boy right here. Eastwood just sent it over. It's their prototype power hammer, and they had it earmarked for me to test out and see if I like it. I don't just like it, I love it.
Just get those wonderful toys.
I am very excited to be using this new tool, and we're gonna find some good uses for it here very soon once we start jumping back on skin work in a little while. Till then, I'm gonna get myself dialed in on it first so I don't destroy everything. So what do you think, Tony?
Looks a lot more solid than the wire that we started with.
Those certainly are words.
Yep.
But what do you think about the shape?
Yeah, I like it. I like it. I think it's right.
Now that I have the basic shape down and tubed, and then it has the seal of approval from Tony, and we're good to go, I'm gonna go ahead and copy, mirror, and paste on this side. So we can get that solid tubing done. I'm gonna pull the rest of this wire off then, and yeah, we'll go from there. Woogity woogity woo.
It's like a magician's scarves. Just keep pulling and pulling and pulling.
So this is a typical carpentry laser, and you can use it to level picture frames, or I don't do carpentry, I don't know. You can do wood things with it. I like to use it to level out things on the car. I know the car is very level because if I put the laser across the brace that we have across the back there, I can see that's nice and level. So what I'm worried about is making sure that the tips here are level side to side, and same thing for the light housing and everything else. So I'm gonna use the laser, I'm gonna bring it up to the edge of the one spoiler edge that we have there. Just right there. See how that's painting it just barely right here? Now, I can go this side and see, yep, see, I was low. because the wireframe we did both side to side was eyeballed and was not level. So now I can go through and start tweaking to ensure we are nice and level. So we got laser right here on the tip, laser on the tip here, and also you can see we're super level because back here, when I stand off, the laser's, you know, maybe like 3 millimeters off the top. And it's the same on this side. Look at that.
We're super level. What the heck is super level?
It's like the final boss of the level, you know?
Super level, because it's on a supercar.
That's why. Tony, did you see that comment? That's like the other 80 comments we got about too much talking and not enough working.
Yeah, I get that comment at home too.
It's funny because like if you combine Tony and my labor together, we have like 24 hours of work
24,
maybe?
yep.
Every week that we work on this because this is our full-time gig. Yeah, that's condensed down to 30 minutes. With also the talking that we do to figure out what's going on, which is also condensed down in that 30 minutes. So
we could just wait till the whole car's done and then do it all in one video.
that sounds boring. We missed a lot of steps. This is the real car building experience, not the YouTube one that just shows the highlights and a couple things getting broken.
That is not the hanging out in the shop with us. If you want to see a finished car, go to a car show.
Ooh. Gotta use the old sharp table. It's funny, we had all these plans to retain this wireframe, and I'm not doing that. Here's what happens when you retain the wireframe. You're like, oh, we're gonna keep this, maybe I'll need it later. You go over here, and then you end up with a piece of wireframe that just sits in the corner, because what are you gonna do with it after you're done? Like this one, from the front of the car. It just chills.
Hey, Ryan.
Oh, what? I don't like that tone in your voice.
I went to take the crash beam out of this door.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, that bolt isn't right. On the other door, both the bolts were the same.
Yeah.
Then I started looking at things. This beam is different and located differently. So the other one mounts down at the lower hinge where this one mounts to the upper hinge. And this is beefier. I was kind of curious because on that one, it just seemed a little spindly. Plus, it also seemed very low.
Yeah, so this door is an O2 door. Whereas this other silver door is from that actual car, so it's what, 96, 97?
97.
97.
Yep. I like this better than the other one.
Yeah.
From a crash standpoint. All right, I'm gonna continue on for now. Look how tiny those bolts are. But if you look at this is just on those two layers of stamped steel there and here.
And right there.
And on the other door, it's sitting on this big block against this very heavy bracket, which is also then against that structure. Here's the two new bolts, the two old style bolts. And then, I mean, just look at the side beam.
That's crazy. So we finally got the Orange Storm Giga set up. And this thing is massive. This is not where it's gonna stay necessarily in the office. We're gonna have to reorganize, which needs to happen anyway. And we did our first test print here. Naturally, we had to do a benchy. It's a little bit on the big side, but look at that bad boy. I'd say we're ready to start printing some large car parts. The idea is to use this machine to print large hammer forms, maybe even print some bumpers with it. And we have some other projects in mind as well, how we can use this to make jigs, and even some things to enhance the aesthetics around the shop. So as you can see, this benchmark test is very small compared to the full build volume of the machine. This machine's capable of 800 millimeters by 800 millimeters by 1,000 millimeters of space. I'm not gonna convert that to freedom units. You guys can Google that if you'd like. Yeah, this thing is massive. The print head can do 300 degrees Celsius, which means we can do some more exotic filaments like nylon. There's some upgrades I wanna do, like, for example, the bed has 4 individual print sheets. They're actually the exact same ones as my Neptune 4 Max I have over there. There's some upgrades you can get to like replace this with 1 single sheet and such, which I will do at some point, but I'm stoked. So provided this machine works well, which so far it seems to be, you'll be seeing us using this machine a lot in upcoming videos. Use the new Eastwood Bender here. That's what this tool is, right? This actually works really well. I feel like I'm making Clippy from Microsoft Office. Remember those days? Just need to curl around the rest of the way. Nice and copied. I'm just gonna tack right here so I can bend it around and get it located. So I gotta do some measurements to get it the right angle. There's like, this is a 3D space I'm putting this in. So it could be wrong this way, it could be wrong this way. Well, it shouldn't be wrong this way because these 2 points are the same, but basically I'm worried about it being wrong like that. So I'll just tack right here and go from there. You weren't supposed to film that. I'm not drinking Red Bull.
If you look at our clay model, the opening for the window for the doors is pretty rectangular. And if you look at a Boxster window, it's very ovular, ovaries?
We don't have to worry about that. We got our tubes tied last week apparently.
No, it's very rounded. So the idea in my head has always been to take a window from a coupe, from a 911 coupe, that has this nice corner at the back, which very much matches the shape that we have modeled out in our clay. It fits in there, it lines up with our seal here, all that's gonna work well, bolts right up to the window regulator. My only concern is it's still rounded at this corner and this comes up very high.
Yeah, it's a little too rounded up top.
So,
we're cutting it.
Yeah,
I've never gotten to do that before, but I've been wanting to try modifying glass and cutting it back without shattering it. So I know it's doable.
We're gonna try it. Otherwise, aside from changing this line at the top, this is going to give us what we need there. It will fit in, it will seal up, weather tight. So it's a good start.
And I think one of the points you were saying about using the original Porsche door and not making our own is now we don't have to engineer all this stuff. It's already been done.
And it's a lot, especially if you're talking like a non-fixed roof and trying to get all that to seal water and wind.
Air, earth, fire.
It seals all the elements. Not having to re-engineer all that is a big, huge thing. We've got some good ideas shape-wise to blend all this in and not have it look like a Boxster door when we're done. But yeah, looks like we're gonna have to experiment with cutting glass.
I don't know when it's gonna happen, but I'm hoping it's really soon. And I hope that we have a bunch of extra pieces of glass around because I don't think we're gonna get it first try.
Well, we'll probably start with that one because we know we're not using that.
That's true.
Yeah, we can start with this round guy here. If we mess up, well, we weren't using it for anything else.
If he dies, he dies. So the tubing, the base line of tubing here is now complete. it's symmetrical, it's floating in place, and now I can connect dots in between and solve some other problems. Like for example, right here we have our scallop. We're talking about maybe doing a gurney flap. We'll see what happens there. But I am enthused to see this in tubing, and now it's time to keep moving with that. But that'll be next week.
Tubing and moving.
Tubing and moving.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we gave anything away. We're giving away one of these shirts for free to one of you guys. All you need to do to enter is comment on this video a favorite Crucible Coachworks moment. That's from the entirety of our
2.5+ years.
Yeah, 2.5+ years of content, and we post it every single week. So there's plenty of inspiration to pull from. Comment it down below, and we'll pick a winner. Then we'll send you one of these, but not the one Tony's wearing, because you don't want that one.
Not after today.
The winner of the shirt will be announced in next week's video, so tune in next week to find out if you won.
And thanks for hanging out in the shop with us.
Bye.